Hello everybody, Travis Berardi here alongside Hayden Gray. We are here with the second to last boys statistical update of the season in scoring, rebounding, and average, and it just seems like it's a long season for basketball, but it didn't seem too long. It felt like it went real quick.
Yeah, I think those first few weeks of basketball season always feel the longest, but then after that, it's boom. It's a race to the finish, a race to tournament time, and we're finally here in the final week of boys regular season play.
Yeah, let's get right into it. Let's take a look at our scoring leaders, and once again, Isaac Mason leads the way, but Luke Denbo creeping up on him, Hayden.
Yeah, a couple games left for both these teams, I believe. So they'll have a chance to compete a little bit before we go ahead and do our final rankings next week. So we'll see how that scoring race is going to finish. But there's a guy in third place. He's a little bit behind Luke Denbo in second, but he's still definitely worth taking a look at. Let's check out Amar Davis from Mansfield Christian, averaging almost 22 points per game, right there at 21.9. He's been such a dynamic playmaker for the Flames this season. I believe we said that he broke the school record for most points in a game earlier in the year, and he just provides a lot of offense for those Flames, heats things up. So he is sitting at third. Right below that, we have Isaac Roeder from Monroeville in fourth, and Alex Bruscotter from Shelby in fifth.
Yeah, rounding out the top 10, Max Dawson from Willard, 6th. Mo Ware from Mansfield Senior at 7th. AJ Hess at 8th from Mohawk. Number 9, Carson Smith of River Valley, and Carter Valentine of Colonel Crawford in 10th. And you need to have at least 18 points per game just to make it into the top 10. But it's going to be interesting to see how we finish this out. Does Luke Denbo overtake Isaac Mason? Can Isaac Mason hold on, or is it going to be somebody else? Can Amar Davis average about 40 points in his last couple of games to get up there? But I think it's just going to be between the top two. But a lot of spots that can be, made up. Your top 6 is all over 20 points, so that's going to probably be shuffled around by the time we do our final update next week. But there you have it for the scoring leaders. Now let's take a look at our rebounding leaders here, led by Micah McKee from Worcester, a 1 rebound lead over Isaac Mason of Seneca East, but that's about 19 rebounds ahead of him, so Mason's got some work to do.
Yeah, he still is hanging around there, giving himself a chance to take home 2 or 3 categories. We'll touch on assists in a second, but he's sitting there at 10.4, so it would take quite a few boards for him in the next few games, but we're saying there's a chance. Then you have St. Paul's Caden Maxwell, Mohawks, AJ Hess, both averaging over 9.5 a game. Luke Jurcevic from the Ashland Arrows still on there at 9.6 as well. Isaac Roeder from Monroeville at 9.3. We have Jed Brennan from Mapleton, almost 9 boards. And let's take a look at Max Lauer from the Northmore Golden Knights. They're a team that's been up and down this year, but consistently you get a lot of effort out of them, and they've been able to make some big games and big plays here in the last few weeks. And Max, he's one of those playmakers who's going to fight and scrap in that paint, try and get you second chance points. He can kick it back out. He can put it up himself, so he provides something for them. They've got a lot of three-point shooters, but he provides that paint presence for them.
Yeah, Northmore almost knocked off North Union at North Union last night. North Union, one of the top teams in the Central District, and they would probably face North Union in a sectional championship in about 8 days from now. So, this team, they have the ability. Maybe they can get a couple upsets and move down in the tournament, but if they need to, it's going to be because of Max Lauer. But you have Hagan Adams, South Central at 8, Ada McDougal from Buckeye Central at number 10, 9 and 10 right there. Good top 10, a lot of very good dynamic players that can get you a rebound. Some of them are guards. Some of them, fearless, getting in there and taking the ball away, getting those second chance points as well. Now let's head to the assist leaders, where Luke Denbo, 0.3 ahead, 6 assists ahead of Bryce Hannum of Mohawk, but he holds on to that lead.
Yeah, Denbo, the other guy on this list who gives himself a fighting chance to at least knock down 2 of these categories, averaging, like you said, almost 6 assists per game. So play for him. Him and Sturry are 2 of the guys that complement each other, and he's usually on the end of those assists quite a bit. Then you got Hannum, like you said, 5.6 from Mohawk. Colonel Crawford's Mason Studer at 3 with 5.5 assists per game. You got Worcester's Drew Dossie at 5.3. Colin Grundy from Mapleton at 4.7. Sam Seidel, Isaac Mason again from Seneca East on there as well. Andre Hill from Shelby at 4.1 and 8th. And then Jude Munns from Western Reserve, almost at 3.9 assists per game. And rounding off the list is going to be Mick Mead from Centerburg. Now, Mick Mead, he's one of those guys that's a dynamic scorer, but he is averaging 3.8 assists per game, good enough for 10th. He can make plays, he's quick, he's willing to go in and draw those fouls, but he's also willing to, go in aggressively and dish that off, looking for those assists, looking for his fellow teammates.
Yeah, and Mick Mead, he's one of the top leaders in scoring in the KMAC, but they score, all these teams are defensive-minded, so they don't score enough for them to break onto the top 10 in scoring, but Mick Mead, one of the main leaders, has a chance of being Player of the Year in the KMAC to keep that award at Centerburg after Carter Jones took it the last 2 seasons, but, got some very good point guards. The point guard of the number 1 team and number 2 teams in all of Division III there, Studer and Munns, and we'll see Munns on Saturday night in a huge game. Can Western Reserve finish undefeated with their season? They got to take on D4 number 2. Calvert. That'll be a great one to watch live and free, but I'm heading down to Centerburg right after this to see McMead go up in the Fredericksburg game against Fredericktown, so that'll be a fun one as well, so stay tuned. And then next week we got boys tournament action going on as well, where we will highlight most of these point guards that have really shown out for the year. But that'll wrap things up here for the boys statistical leaders. We got one more week. We will crown our champions next week in all 3 categories. They are still up for grabs, so it'll be fun to see who will finish things out. But for now, he's Hayden, I'm Travis, and we out.